Hello, my name is Ilona and today is Tuesday, April 30th, 2024 and there are some things I looked at in the Dutch video. I'm just going to at least show one card reading which I think is very relevant, and one I will just do a short recap. First, I want to start with some articles I found. This was in the Dutch newspaper again, and this is about, in Germany there is a case going against Reichsbürger. That's about like a group of extreme civilians who were opposing the government, and apparently there's now a court case about that. And they're now fearing that this could happen in the Netherlands as well, because of all these people that are being sovereign and are stepping away from the government. Again, creating fear. So it's really panic there that they're bringing this out again. And I think the case in Germany will bring out a lot of information as well. I think that's very interesting to see. And I may look at it energetically coming weeks if things are coming out. Another thing is that there is a court case in Great Britain that has to do with a certain sting from a certain company that starts with an A and it has a Z. And it has to do with blood cloths. Yes, they admitted that in very rare cases, of course it's always rare that this could happen, but in a group of Britain, people there in Great Britain has claimed, or at least wanting to get damages for what has happened. They want to get, how do you say this again? Sometimes, let's see. Compensation. That's not the word I was looking for. They want compensation, and it's very interesting because in the Netherlands, I think it's about £100 million, but in euro, it's like 117 million euro. And again, we have 17. Interesting. It just keeps popping up. I think it's very important that this is coming out and people are reading about this. This was in a normal Dutch mainstream newspaper that this court case is happening, and that apparently in the documents this firm admitted that there were like very rare occasion that there could be blood clots. Of course, it's not very rare, and I think more things are going to come out. Another thing which is wonderful to read, that there is another state in USA that apparently declares the sting from the past 4 years as a biological and technological weapon and has banned it. So Florida has banned this sting, and Arizona has now banned it. So that's interesting to see. More and more things are coming out, and I just think this is very interesting. So the thing I looked at first of all was, I'm going to first do my last card reading I did for my Dutch video, and this is about the government that is still there. Of course, there is a new government being formed, but then we have the old government still pushing things through. They don't have a lot of power, but in a way they do. They can just still push things through. And of course, if the Parliament agrees with them, of course it can still become law. Well, they pushed something through the Parliament. It still has to go to the Senate. And then city councils will have the right in certain areas just to shut down gas, which means people will have to get completely different machines. Waterpompen, they're called here in the Netherlands. And it's a lot of money, and it's awful. And there are a few experiments going on here in the Netherlands where people don't have gas anymore. And it's a disaster. They have so much money they had to spend, and it's cost them so much. And all these things, these machines that, warmtepomp, I'm not sure what the English name would be, heating pumps. I think that would be the best translation. They're being used, and it's awful. They make a lot of noise. It's just a disaster. So really, they're still trying to push this, and it will become, if the Senate agrees with it, from January 1st, 2025. Apparently then city council would be possible for them to do this. Well, the cards I got actually was really just to show people again. I got this card. This one fell out before I pulled the other cards. And we are really moving away to independence, to a different way of looking at things, but it's important that also people are becoming active on city council levels. You know, talk to the city people there, the city councils, because most of them do have, you know, how do you say it? It's easier to approach them than someone in The Hague here, at least in the Netherlands. And I think this is, of course, in other countries as well. If people want to get involved and try to change some things, it is possible to do that, to contact city councils. And if people feel like that, I suggest they do that, because it will get people going. My main focus is, if you change your energy, if you become this independent, you're not going to be concerned with those things. It's not going to happen. They need our energy. And it may sound very strange, but this is really the ultimate thing. They need our energy. I also got the card, the Four of Swords. So to me, it feels like, I don't think this is even going to pass the Senate. I'm not even sure this is going to go anywhere. But this is really about showing people that they are, you know, showing this agenda. That's what this is about. The last two cards for the future, I've got two beautiful cards, the Ten of Cups and the Empress. So to me, this feels like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. And let's face it, in 6-7 months, we could be in a completely different time, different energy. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm not getting a lot out of this, but just to get people going, talking, contacting city councils as well. It brings people in action. I think that's a good thing as well, that people are becoming aware of this, especially because it will have an effect on their wallet, because it will immediately affect them. So this will get people going and out of their comfort zone. The second thing I do want to show, my card reading was, someone sent this to me. So thank you very much for sending me this, because there's, especially in African countries, I barely know anything about this. And this is about Namibia. Apparently King Philip from Belgium is in Namibia right now. Very interesting. Kind of wondering, what is he doing there? Well, apparently he's visiting there, and it has to do with to deepen the bonds of friendship and growing bilateral relations between these two countries. So this is very interesting. So he's already there. He arrived yesterday, and it will be there till May 3rd. And I just wanted to take a look at the energy there. What is this about? Well, the first card I've got, to be very honest, I was really thinking about, I think there are other things going on as well. And not sure if it was this card reading or the second one. Maybe I should just leave it at this. The cards will say enough about this. Well, first of all, we have the Three of Pentacles. So to me, this feels like they are cooperating. There's cooperation going on. We've got the central card, which is the Queen of Cups. So this is about connection in a way. We've got the Eight of Swords in the past. We've got Justice underneath the Queen of Cups. And for the future, we have the Two of Swords and the High Priestess. To me, this feels like there's something else going on. There is cooperation going on, but I have a feeling that this is mostly done by white hats, that this has to do with justice. I think it's actually taking away certain influences or giving Namibia way more influence than they had before. I'm not sure what the bond exactly is because there are so many European countries who had so much effect, especially France and Belgium in a way, and of course the Netherlands as well, in the African countries. And I think it's good to see that it feels like that influence is diminishing, and that's part of this as well. We're not going to see right away what's going on. There's going to be a lot of secrecy, a lot of on the background, but I have a feeling that this is really about cutting ties. So instead of, it seems like they're actually intensifying their contact, I believe if there are going to be certain trades done, it's more in a balanced way. And I have a feeling they're going to be more independence for Namibia. That's the feeling I'm getting. But it won't be clear very well with the Two of Swords, so it won't be very shown immediately. And we have the High Priestess, secrets. Things are being veiled. It's not going to be that obvious, but I have a feeling other things are happening there. And it wouldn't surprise me if he was sent there by the white hats to figure out things there, to let go of certain things there, certain influences and certain that's been happening there for such a long time. So I think this is really a step towards independence for Namibia. I see this as very, very positive. The one thing I wanted to take a look in this video that I didn't even looked at in the Dutch video, because the last card reading was of course very Dutch oriented, with of course the city councils having the right to cut off gas. So I wanted to take a look at something I think is very interesting, and this has to do with, of course, with Ron DeSantis, who is now, of course, who has visited Mr. T and is now pro Mr. T. And we've seen this before. So first he was, of course, against him, and they were, you know, throwing all kinds of mud against each other. And now suddenly they are, in a way, great pals. I think this is all part of the chess game. I think this is all part of that it was all an act, and it's just to pull in people and to reach people that are from different, you know, that Mr. T wouldn't be able to reach immediately. And now a lot of things have changed as well. But he is now focusing on Robert Kennedy Jr., calling him a Democratic plant. And a lot of things are happening now. I think this is very interesting. Also talking about, you know, about the climate that Robert Kennedy Jr. was very vocal about in the past. But I just want to take a look at that. To me, it feels like a chess game again, especially because Robert Kennedy Jr. is talking about so many things that are very, very interesting, about stings, about medication. It's just... he's really opening people's eyes towards things that have been, you know, how do you say this, swept under the rug. Also spoken about, of course, the leaving the earth plane of his uncle. And I'm sure he's going to talk about his father. I think he's mentioned his father as well, who's also, let's just say, ended in a very cruel way. And of course, who are really, according to him, associated with that. So let's see, what is this energy about? Oh, let's see, the Tower. Things are falling apart. That's a good sign. Oh, let's see, Whitehead influences. I'm looking at the back of the deck. I see the King of Wands. This is Whitehead. And again, we have the Queen of Cups. This is really about connection, making connections. We have the Nine of Swords in the past. We've got the Queen of Pentacles underneath the Queen of Cups. We've got the Four of Pentacles for the future and the Emperor. So ultimately it will lead to the military. This is a Whitehead operation. I believe they're both working for that. Whether that is voluntarily or not, I really, you know, that's you can of course see if that resonates with you. But this is really about showing people things. This is about falling the old fundament that's been built on, the dark energy. It needs to collapse, and that this is being used to collapse that, to show people that. And it will lead to more connection, and I think people will be shown things. It also has to do with health. I do think that Robert Kennedy Jr. obviously is bringing to light a lot of towards these things and what's really been going on and for a very long time. So this is about connection, about health. This is about really breaking the old, and that's just the old fundament, you know, the foundation that is just not built on anything, on quicksand. That's what it's built on. It's falling apart, and ultimately it will lead to the military. And they'll probably, you know, try to stand their ground, throw, you know, sling a few of you. It's like mud against each other. I think it's the same as what happened with Ron and with Mr. T. But it ultimately, it's really, in a way, working together. But looking like it's seem like they're working from a different angle, but ultimately it will come together. So that's what I'm getting from this. This is all part of the chess game. So I'd like to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.